that when they're attached to a human, and the human has a healing experience and opens its heart, I already mentioned that, is that the suction gets so strong of the heart that, and the demon in itself, the demon doesn't have any power. Only we have the power. That's the thing. Demon never has power. It's only illusory power. It's only like stolen, But we always have the power to take it back. We always have the power. Every light that we've ever, every soul aspect that has ever been suppressed, so to speak, that has ever been fragmented from us. It's never truly fragmented. It's still us. It's still us. And no matter where it is, let's say in time, space, where that went, it's us. It's our consciousness. And as we bring that back in by opening to all that we feel whenever it is triggered, we open to what we feel. We open to what we feel instead of resisting it. For example, being ridden by anger, being driven by anger, being driven by all the negative emotions, acting them out, just being like ridden, like you are ridden by, something is riding you, and you feel powerless towards it. That's the addiction. That's the addiction to the negative emotions. And it can only happen in our unconscious. It can only happen when we are unconscious, when we are focused on the story in the mind, where we are the victim. It has to be that way. Focused on the story in our mind where we are the victim, we're entertaining that. And they can only drive us, our negative emotions, when we don't feel them consciously, when we are in resistance to them. So it's only as we are in resistance to those parts of ourselves that that they take over, the negative emotions take over, and they ride us. And we by that, that's what feels really bad, that's addiction, because anger, like a person that is not aware of this enough, will simply get angry and angry and angry and angry, but not in a liberating sense. That's the thing. Emotions do want to flow, that is true, but that's not a liberating sense. If you get anger and act out your anger, you're actually miserable. Actually, those people are miserable. We know it from ourselves. We feel terrible, being in a fight or something. It feels really terrible. And what we really want is to be free of that emotion. And somehow we just keep repeating the program of, and every time we are ridden by that emotion, not rid of it, but ridden by it, like something is riding a horse. We actually feed it. We actually get more angry. We actually feed the anger, and we get more angry, and so we create more misery. When what we really want is peace. We really want, and peace is not boring. Peace is completely fulfilling. We really want to feel good. We want to feel good. And the way to do that, of course, the only way that can come about, that kind of shift, is when, yes, emotions want to flow. They do want to flow, but the big difference is whether I am identified in my mind with a story about myself where I am the victim, and then I'm entertaining this anger, and that's not letting the anger flow, because the anger then can only recreate itself and thereby get stronger by me suppressing the actual emotion that's behind it, by me being vulnerable and open to actually feeling that anger. And the thing is, once you feel anger, and that means not resist it and be ridden by it, because that's the expression of anger in the toxic way, that's recreating the toxification, that's recreating more anger, that's keeping you in that bound to, in that miserable cycle, is when you actually feel your anger, because you can't do both at the same time. You can't be entertaining the story and being, you can't do that and at the same time really feel it. So the way to feel it is to let the story go, let it go for a moment, and just feel the sensation of it. You feel it. And that's, by feeling it, you're allowing it to flow. But you're not recreating it. And when you're not recreating it and you're feeling it consciously, you're allowing it to be there in your body, you're allowing it to flow, that's how you heal it. That's how you heal it. And it helps to know that the story, yes, it is valid. It is valid, and you shouldn't be a doormat. Obviously, you shouldn't be a doormat. And the story definitely helps to trigger that anger. But to protect yourself, the thought is, "Ooh, I have to fight for myself. I have to stand in for myself. I can't be a doormat." But by fighting with your anger, you're resisting actually the emotions, and you in the fight, you're feeding your demons, basically. Yeah, you're feeding your demons. They're having a heyday. They're having a feast, and you're feeling more miserable. You don't feel good after it. You don't feel good. But you don't know any other way. But when this becomes very obvious to you, then you know, oh, okay, what I really want is to be rid of my anger, is to not have it. And then if you don't have it, chances are you won't even get into a situation that triggers it because you're not a match to it. Or you will meet the same situation very, very differently, and which will then not feed the other person's anger, or it will not, they'll just run on empty. They just won't have a player. You're not a match anymore. You're not a match to them. So it loses its momentum instantly, very, very quickly, because it has nowhere to latch onto, has nowhere to stand, has nowhere to come against. And once you start realizing that, and then you see every time negative emotion is triggered, that's your opportunity to heal it. That's your opportunity. And so every time you can make that choice. Are you going to create more misery for yourself and the other person in your life? The other person, everyone actually. Are you going to create more of this negative feeling, or are you actually going to want to feel better and heal it? And so in that moment, you're like, oh, okay, good. This is time for healing. And instead of going into reaction, rah, 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 you go like, oh, okay, this is coming up now, and you hold it like a baby, and you just be present with it. And then there's fear arising, maybe because the other person is expecting you to react in your old ways or in certain ways, but you're not giving them that, because chances are the other person is driven by its own demon, and then, all they want is disharmony, they want struggle, they want adversity. That's how they stay alive. And but you're not going there with them. And so they can get more and more angry and saying, hey, give me my stuff. Get angry. I want to play with you. Here. I want to get fed, And you're just like not paying attention. And you're just like feeling your anger. You're feeling what's there. And the thing is, moment you feel your anger, it's not anger anymore. It's just a lot of energy. It's like really, really a lot of energy. And it just wants to be felt. And that's when it soothes, and that's when you heal it. And the thing is, you might have the feeling that it's like emptying out a lake with a teaspoon. That's how much anger you have, and feeling it would be emptying out with it. Like, when is it ever going to end? But one thing you can rest assured, it might take years of feeling, it might take years of feeling. But there's two things you can rest assured. One is that what you have healed, that what you have felt will never come back again. So that portion of energy that has been suppressed is released. Yeah. So what you keep feeling then, or next time when this session is over, when then the next triggering that happens, it's never repeats itself. That's the next in line. That's the next energy. So that means that every time you do release your negative emotion, you do let them flow and heal them. So you do feel stronger in the standing in your conscious awareness of shifting in that moment when you're triggered, instead of jumping back on that wagon and recreating more negative emotion, to turn around and to feel yourself and to heal yourself. So that grows, that ability to shift, every time you do it. Like you regain a part of yourself. And the other thing you can also rest assured is that at some point it shifts so much, and it already starts in the moment you understand this. The moment you understand that having your negative emotion triggered is always an opportunity for healing yourself. It is the greatest opportunity for healing yourself, actually. I mean, yes, we all would like it to be more pleasant. But it happens also so that we become aware of our programming, so that we become aware of our unconscious programming, of our wounds, of our suppressed emotions. And that's why it happens. So it's always an opportunity, which means you are no longer trying to avoid situations like that. You can relax more into the flow. You can trust life more, and okay, if some kind of unpleasant situation arises where I come into a fight with someone, or negative emotion is triggered, it can only always be for my own good, and for everyone's good. And once you see that, then that's how it's going to be, because you no longer want to recreate misery, and you understand how it works, and so you no longer do it. And you take it as the opportunity for healing that it is.